I would like to highlight few points as an advantage of using cast and anchor channel, and more than an advantage, ensuring quality fixing. Basic thing is that we need just simple tools and can be installed without power supply and easy and fast to install. And basically all the components supplied are protected, in the sense corrosion protected. There need not be any more corrosion protection or corrosion treatment to be done. And easily adjustable, fully tested components, instant loading, in the sense when I say this, always if we say about dynamic loading, it's not a mechanical fastener, it has to be a chemical fastener. So with anchor channels, you can instantly load. And against welding, yes, there are no bulky, expensive equipments required, no electrical supply required, there is no risk of fire, and it's faster, and final adjustment is easy, and certification process of welding, it's a huge task which is not required here. And all these products are fully tested components, and the loads what we mentioned in the paper are verified. And as we say Halfen, we offer A to Z project support, in the sense pre and post sale services. Thank you very much. And I think I match with the time over placard. These are the contacts of our sales managers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Das, and I am really sorry to keep on showing you the placards of time. We're really running late. So moving on, without wasting another minute, we can have the questions during the networking break. So we're moving on to the next round of group discussion. And let me invite the panelists for the same. We have Mr. Varun Kohli on the panel. We have Mr. K.R. Suresh. And we have Mr. Pankaj Keswani, the founder chairman of Alufit. In the past 28 years, Alufit today is a renowned name in the aluminium curtain wall industry under the stewardship of Mr. Keswani. Now we have Mr. Naren Kumar. He has a varied and rich experience of 14 years across various expertise in the areas of glass manufacturing and processing. He heads the Structural and Glass Solutions Division of Saint-Gobain. We have Mr. Staladipti Saha. He has over 2 decades of experience. Mr. Saha is a Joint General Manager and Head for Engineering, Design, Research and Consultancy at L&T Limited. We have Mr. Afzal Contractor. Mr. Afzal Contractor is the sales lead at Momentum India. Now we have all the panelists. To moderate them, we have Mr. Selvam Ramanathan. He is the star of the show. Mr. Selvam, he has over 20 years of experience in civil engineering. He started his career in Singapore, managing a complex facade structures. He is now heading Geotrix Building Systems. Okay.
Good afternoon. Little bit of electronics, I don't get short circuited. I think we all had a good lunch, and I believe it's sleeping time. Let's start our discussion today. Before I move on, from morning we saw technology. We had a good discussion about different typologies of systems, a lot of good opinion about different facades which can be done over here. But basically what happened is World of Facade started last year, and our main aim is to bring first a good standard practice in India. So to arrive to this level, we have conducted 4 seminars since last year. Most of the time in all the seminars what we have done, we have highlighted the problems what the industry was facing. Until the last one when it happened in Mumbai, the roadshow, it was quite well received. And everyone started asking, Selvam, yes, you have been conducting this World of Forum for facades and a lot of seminars were going on. Where is the solution for all the problems? We are not here and nobody could find, so what we do? So an idea came about bringing solution on the table. Like every day now we go back home in the evening, you switch on the TV. Any channels you just switch, in the news channels, you will start to see 5 people shouting, 6th guy trying to convince them, cool down, for various issues. But at the end of the day, after you spend time watching them, what you would have learned, or what they would have learned? Nothing. They shout, they scream, they fight each other, no solution. If every day and every one of these forums which is conducted in the media, if there was a solution arrived, I believe India would have been a greater place to live. Don't you think so? Yes, isn't it? So, just grasping the idea, I said, why we cannot self-regulate ourselves? There are problems, okay, we keep on mentioning about problem, but why we cannot come to a conclusion for ourselves? Who is government? What they are supposed to do? We are here, we are the fraternity. Why we cannot self-regulate ourselves? Why we need to talk about other countries where they have grown up? Always we feel shy. Morning they were questioning states, God far beyond, and the technology is far beyond. I'm sorry. It's completely unacceptable where we are living in a land with full of knowledge and we know what we do and we are hardworking, but where we are lagging. Because we all of us believe somebody next door is going to do for us. Who is the guy next door? Nobody. But the guy who is in the next door is doing far better than us. So the idea of this forum, it's going to be something which is going to be decisive. I.e., if you look at this here, you see this. It's an association which has been formed recently. It's called Indian Facade and Fenestration Association. When we mentioned the name association, the first thing came out, you guys are forming cartel. Oh, okay. What you guys are trying to do? So after applying a lot of thought process, we called all the contractors in India, every one of them. Then we told them, yes, we have a problem. Now we all have to team up to find a solution. How we can do that? So the association was formed by a proper democratic electoral process. We conducted an election, a proper balloting. 70 of the contractors have voted and selected a committee who will start establishing the guideline for this industry. So if you see left of me in the front row, all the members are sitting here today. This forum is going to be simple. I've chosen only 3 topics for this forum. We will debate and then we will ask them, are you going to accept this? It can't be a 100% conclusion, but at least we want to sow the seed today. All the 3 topics what we discuss, we will document it, and the idea is within the next 1 year down the line, you all will start to see the tree is growing. So with this I would like to start the forum. We have a beautiful panelist here. Everyone is expertise in their own field. I don't have to introduce them again. I believe they are all been introduced well. I am not going to be too specific to anyone to ask question. Rather, I would like every one of you to participate and give your opinion. But the final conclusion also, I have chalked out the topics where the members of the association have to say, yes, we agree, no, we don't agree. That's it, only 2. Yes, we agree or we don't agree. Then we go on. To start the discussion, first I will start with a very simple question. Now you look at facades. Recently I started to receive documents which say the facade have to be fireproof. Yes, how we can make a facade fireproof? With a simple facade, it's just a beautiful building and they want the facade to be fireproof. Is it possible? I know, yes, you can design a system for it, but a building, a simple building, economically designed building, but the specification reads the facade have to be fireproof. Yes, who would like to join? Yes, Saha. Do you think it's the right direction or are we trying to manipulate?
Yeah, I think there's when you talk about fire, we need to first identify whether you are talking about fire protection or it is about fire resistance, because each of them have got different connotations. I have not come across with my limited knowledge completely fireproof facade, because doing that something will be so expensive. But having said that, there may be some specific areas where somebody would like to do a fire resistant facade, kind of a wall or something. That is possible because you have products available, though maybe again, as I said, very expensive. But other than that, maybe for protection or prevention, you have, I remember, there are legislations in Europe where you have tempered markings for evacuation on the glass or on the facade. But other than that, making a facade, fireproof would be, I think, a Herculean task.
Yes, I don't understand. This is where the building is a normal building. The specification says the wall have to be fireproof. So,
in addition, I would say that if it is fireproof, you can't evacuate people. Because if you use a fireproof glass all over the building, how do you evacuate the people? So that is another question.
So isn't it misleading?
Maybe it's an understanding with the fire officers have that fireproof means they should people can escape. You should have ventilation. You should have maybe red triangles or.
Yes,
that's what I feel.
I have that question later for discussion. Yes, Pankaj.
Yeah, if I may come in here, I think what people are trying to ask is that can we make buildings now that are much better resistant to fire than what they were earlier? For example, most of the buildings, as you know, are not using fire-rated aluminum composite panels, for example, right? There's a subtle difference, or probably a little difference of about 200 rupees per square meter or 300 between a regular panel and a BA rated and a B2 rated fire rated panel for ACP. So these are certain measures which are 2 hours fire rated, that you can end up doing that rather than have something that can burn up in 15 minutes, right? So there are various other methods that you can do, like you have your fire access panel, like the FAP that you normally put on those glasses from where you want to evacuate tomorrow. So people are asking, the regular buildings don't have those. Now, the new ones that are coming in with those, right? And if these can be done, I'm most certain that as time passes, this is what the industry requires, this is what the market requires, and this is what we need to do as responsible agencies in the field.
So Varun, just to come back to you, who is the person? Yes, we have architect, we have engineer, we have contractor, consultant, suppliers. Whom you think in this line have to take this responsibility to correct this course?
I hope this is on. Are you still talking about fireproof?
Yes, yes. I don't change fast.
I am no fire expert, but I think what you're referring to, and I got a little bit confused with the fireproofing term, but I think we're talking about fire-rated glass, right? So in the US, I have seen most of the fire-rated glass, it is expensive, even in the US. And only places where the code requires you to, usually it's not the facade, it's usually, the stair enclosure, the egress stairs, and those kind of things that are where it's required to do that fire rating. I don't know who's responsible, but I can say this, like, you and I have had this discussion before, and I'm going to take it off a bit on the tangent away from just the facade issue, but if you look at some of the very basic code requirements for egressing a building in India, compared to the codes that we have back in the US or any other Western country, they are far behind in terms of, bringing up to the speed. I'll give you a simple example. Here, we're still, in India, it's all about, the terraces that you have to provide, right? In every fourth floor, refuge area, sorry. So, that is completely, done away with in the US because that, over the past 20 years, everybody has understood that is not the right way to do things. You need to get people down and out, no matter where they are. You don't try to get them on a terrace, you get them out, right? That's number one. Number two, we talked about this operable windows on the facade, which is, the assumption, and this is I was talking to you and I'm trying to understand, the assumption is that when the fire breaks out and there's smoke on the floor, that somebody's going to find a way to open a window. You really think so? That if there's a fire in the office and I'm going to go find a window? No. I think, some of these things we need to bring from countries that have already experienced and gone through that process.
See, just to touch base between yours and Pankaj, if I just shorten what Pankaj was trying to explain, he is trying to talk about the material which are not fire resistant. I don't know whether you all understood this. The material what you are installing today is not fire resistant at all. It is as good as a house in village which is built with a thatch roof. So we talk about technology, we talk about material, we talk about everything, but today the material what we still use, they are as good as a thatch roof. They are not fire resistant. And as Varun was highlighting, since I came here, this is my 10th year here. Every time when consultant come to me to say, I want 20% of the facade openable. Okay, sir, I agree with you. Where is the code? Somebody have written this code, you have to follow. Okay, what I have to do? You have to make a operable window, but with a removable handle. Okay, what it's supposed to do? During fire, you have to open the window, so you let oxygen to come in, so you reduce the smoke. Great idea. First of all, we increase the cost of the facade. Second, we provide an misleading direction to the tenant, misleading direction to the occupant. So, fire in a building and a facade which have to be fireproof, it's a myth, and we are living in a myth. That's what I want to highlight here. Either we follow the right code of practice, later I'll explain to you how the world follows. So we make our buildings environment friendly, safer, so we can start moving forward. Yes? The understanding about fire in the building for us is a myth. Exactly. Yes. Good. Thank you, sir. So, of course, this is why we are here today. I am not going to leave them without they are giving a solution, am I right? Yes. Yes. Second, So fire will come to the conclusion. Okay. So second we talk about soundproof. Every time we design a building, we say, okay, the building have to be very quiet. So we adopt a lot of technologies to it, different types of glasses. See, basically, to design a building which have to be soundproof, what are the simple parameters we have to follow? See, example, you design a hotel, there is certain level of decibel level you have to follow, or certain privacy level you have to follow. So, Naren, according to you, what do you think a simple formula you apply for a standard building or a residential where it is soundproof? Say example, my neighbor should not hear me shouting at my house, that's all. For that, what is a simple formula we can adopt?
It's not nothing about the facades. Even in a house or in a hotel, wherever, it's normal punch windows or something. Number one, the environment that house is in, that is important, because the house can be in a very traffic zone, or the first parameter which you need to consider is where is that building. That is the first parameter. Number two, when we say acoustic, okay, I've taken a small house with 150 square meters of windows. You can have a best laminated, double glazed, so many panels and all those things, and have a very good acoustic, but it does not solve the purpose. The purpose is solved if your system as a total, it's not only one component, all the components with the ceiling, with the installation, everything is correct, then you have a performance. Now, what is that which you wanted, which human beings, where we can live without having any disturbance, maybe 30 to 35 dB inside a bedroom if you want to sleep peacefully. But then it's not possible in all the cases. It's difficult on a, let's say in a GST road near the airport, your system and all the things will become so robust, and then you will have to do that. It's not only glass, nothing to do with glass and aluminum here. Any material, whether it is cement or any material, whatever material you are choosing for closing that and reducing the acoustic, I think these three. Number one, the surroundings where we are in. Number two, the material with all the material with perfect installation without any leakages. And third one, we have to accept that it's not possible to have, I don't want to name, but I can tell you one of the chairman of a big group last week said, I want pin drop silence. I didn't get what is pin drop silence.
Yeah, exactly, like now what we hear is the AC noise, am I right?
So we have to accept that we will not get pin drop silence, but we'll have a little a noise which is bearable to human beings. That I think should be around 35.
So basically acoustics, when I say soundproof, it is related to acoustics. So when a facade is designed or when a specification is rolled out on a normal building, I'm not talking about any high funda building here, a simple commercial or a residential building, can I say, whatever we are doing today, is it to the standards what we practice abroad, or it's still not? Yes, sir, please.
Not yet, because first of all, we don't have a code. We don't have a code for acoustics. Okay.
So, can we put a code today?
Yeah,
what it's supposed to be?
We can. I think with the association members, we can deliberate, have a code made. That's not only the thing. But then this code will not have a generic one, because the acoustic has to deal with the application where you are.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the acoustic has to be hospitals, you need to have a separate type of things. Hotels, you have a separate one. Commercial buildings, you have a separate one with different environments. There are some 7 or 8 environments and different applications. With the combination of this, you can have a code. But not as a generic code, okay, this is acoustics. Like some of the codes which we have is take the fire code, 2-hour fire rating. What does that mean? Nobody knows. So it's like that.
There is no fire code for facade.
No, not for the facade, but for the building as such. The National Building Code says that 2-hour fire rating.
There is no fire code for the facade.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you.
There is
Separately
absolutely no fire code in India for facade. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something called good practices, right? And globally, good practices are used. Whether we talk about fire, we talk about sound, we talk about various things, there are good practices. Now, there may be a spec which says it's got to be fireproof. Maybe someone's written that with some intent, I can't comment on that. But there are good practices that are followed. There is fire safing that's required, a fire separation that's required floor to floor. It's done everywhere in the world. There is fire separation that's done from room to room. There is acoustic separation that's done from room to room. Standard practice that we follow in India on most of our projects is for acoustics. We have an acoustic consultant, we do measurements, we do various other things to get the values we need the system to be designed to. Now, you talk about code. I'm sure there are existing codes globally. Now, those are voluntary codes. The codes that you intend to develop, if you do develop them, how will you implement them? Because if it's again not regulated by a larger body, which in this case may be the government, then
Okay.
people
Sorry to interrupt here. Every time this is the excuse I get. Who is government? I mean, I ask the question, what they are supposed to do?
Okay.
Why you expect them? They have enough for their own.
You're right.
They have their problem. This idea of forming the association is to self-regulate. If there is a best practice, let's put it in practice. We show to the government how good we are.
That's
I
great.
agree with you, Tin. Yes, we have best practices around the world. Why India is different? Morning I said, we are what, 15 years in this industry now? Still today we don't understand how a building have to be regulated in facade. This is very sad. So why we always expect a government or a government body to come for help? They already need help. The idea is for us to see all of you together come with a solution. The platform is already there. Now all of you have to put your thought process, recommend. Yes, sirs, I would like to pass the mic to the, yes. Yeah, next topic only. I would like to pass on the mic to one of the association member. Yes, everybody agree there is nothing available? Are we ready to follow if we establish an regulation here?
The code should be established and the code should be defined. Prima facie, we have to define whether the curtain wall is fireproof, fire resistant, or whether it will actually catch fire. One said that and a code decided, you are absolutely right, we have to have a self-regulatory board that defines it, and then we should make the industry follow the practice.
Good, sir, thank you. So now I move on. We hear a lot about energy efficient and green. This is a term every contract says today. I fail to understand this terminology, what it means. For me, green is grass. Energy efficient is, I was talking to one of a senior most architect in India one day, like in this forum. So I asked him, sir, I have a request. Can you design a house where I lived during my young age? Salam, what's so special about the house? Sir, every day I used to study in a candle lamp. I used to have a palm leaf to go to sleep. I sleep in the floor with a thatch roof. Pleasant it was. Within 5 minutes I used to sleep. But today I live in all the comfort possible in the world. With the AC where the outside temperature is -1 or whatever. It's the coldest time, but we still live in AC. And he said the technology has gone up, so we have to live with it. So coming back to the panel, what is this terminology? What is energy efficient and what is green? Faisal, if you can highlight us about green. Yes, you are the guy who bonds, I believe, the systems together, right? You represent a sealant manufacturing company. When we talk about green, everybody says green. So, in your language, what that green means in your product?
Salom, just to correct you, my name is Afzal Contractor.
Okay, Afzal,
and,
sorry.
Not Faisal. And secondly, I mean, we talk about a lot of energy efficiency. See, silicon is one.